And we are ready.
Okay.
Would you like to start us off? Which band are we talking about right now? You want to talk about 2? You want to talk about 40?
Well, I think I want to talk in general about the bands, and then
Okay.
we'll get specifically about them.
Okay, all right. Go for
The
it.
question is, how many antennas do you really need? And which is also saying, how many bands do you really need? And the answer is as many as you can afford, or as many as your physical space allows you. There's a lot of reasons for that. We used to, years ago, didn't have the option of multiple bands on our equipment. They were single band transmitters and single band receivers. And then they got more technically competent with it, and they built 3 bands and then 5 bands. And today you have many different options of all bands. Everything that's on the amateur radio is available through a new transceiver. It wasn't always that way though, and the result of that is that we have improved our ability to transmit and receive, but we haven't improved our bands. There's really not anything we can do with our bands because we don't control it. The sun controls the bands. And it's only because it sends out particles, high energy particles, onto the earth, which results in a blanket of charged particles up about 75 to 150 miles, which allows us to skip our signal from our station up to that blanket and then back down to the earth and then back up and literally all the way around the world. That's how point-to-point transmissions of signals happens.
Now, you call that the ionosphere, correct?
Yes, that is the ionosphere.
So the sun is charging the ionosphere, and that's
correct.
and it's kind of like a little sheet of like
it is a blanket.
Yeah, a sheet or a blanket of charged energy that covers the globe, and then we can use that to kind of kick off and go back down towards the earth.
That's correct.
Cool.
Yeah, and there's a lot of facets related to the ionosphere. The time of day is a function of when did those particles get here, how long did they stay a particle, because they do eventually dissipate or get charged into or get changed into a different kind of particle. The other thing that goes on with the ham radio is just interference. You have a lot of different things that go on. Almost everything could be at one time or the other interfering with that transmission. But there's not a whole lot we can do about that either. We just have to accept it, and there's new things that we have in these radios, like roofing filters and notch filters, and changing the center line of the IF system, and lots of things that helps us. But in effect, we're still dealing with the same old band that we had 50 years ago or even 100 years ago. So anyway, the answer to that first question was you need as many bands as you can get, because you are going to, at some point in time, just about every day, you're going to need another band, because that one either didn't work or it failed on you after you were transmitting for a while. It's a normal thing that happens to bands. So, and you know, there's other ways you can do it. You can have a single antenna that is a multi-band antenna. And that's something that has come into being in the last 40 or 50 years. We used to be just hanging a wire out there on one band. Now then, arguably you can have 5 or 6 bands. Not optimized, but still functional. And that's what most people use. And that certainly helps in a limited space environment.
Okay, cool. All right, we're going to go ahead and pause here. One second.